These reports, incredible as they seem, are not the results of mass hysteria. The wave of murder that is in the nation is being committed by creatures who feast upon the flesh of their victims. First eyewitness accounts of this grisly development came from people who were understandably frightened and almost incoherent. Officials at first discounted these eyewitness descriptions as being beyond belief. However, reports persisted, and medical examinations of some of the victims bore out the fact that they had been partially devoured. I interrupt to bring this to you. This is the latest disclosure in a report from the Department of Health's headquarters in London. It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and committing acts of murder. A widespread investigation of reports from funeral homes, morgues and hospitals has concluded that the unburied dead are coming back to life and seeking human victims. It's hard for us here to believe what we're reporting to, but it does seem to be a fact. When this emergency first began, radio and television stations were urging you to stay behind locked doors for safety. Well, that situation has now changed, and we're able to report a definite course of action for you. Civil defence machinery has been organised to provide rescue stations with food, shelter, medical treatment and protection by armed forces. Stay tuned to broadcasting stations in your local area for this list of rescue stations. Look for the name of the rescue station nearest you and make your way to that location as soon as possible. Earlier this afternoon, an emergency meeting was called by the Prime Minister. Since convening, this conference of the Cabinet Ministers and various British intelligence agencies and security services has not provided any public information. Why are space experts being consulted about an Earth-bound emergency? So far, all the betting on the answers to that question is centering on the recent orbiter satellite shot to Mars. That satellite, you recall, started back to Earth but never got here. The space vehicle which orbited Mars was purposely destroyed by the European Space Agency just above Earth's atmosphere, when they had discovered it was carrying a mysterious high-level radiation with it. Could that radiation be somehow responsible for the wholesale murders we are now suffering? One of our reporters caught up to a group of officials as they were leaving the conference.
You're coming from the meeting regarding the Mars probe explosion, is that right?
Yes, that was the subject of the meeting.
Do you feel that there's a connection between this and the recent phenomena?
Well, there's a definite connection.
Do you think that the radiation on the Mars probe is enough to cause these mutations?
There was a very high degree of radiation.
No, hang on a minute. No, I'm not sure that's right at all. I thought we decided that I'd not been
It's the only possible explanation that we have at this time.
In other words, is it the military's viewpoint that the radiation is not the cause of these mutations?
I cannot speak for the entire military at this time, but I must strongly disagree with the views of
Everything
these...
is being done that can be done.
We have to hurry to our next meeting.
Professor, do you feel that there is a definite connection?
There's a definite connection as far as Dr. Keller and myself
Doctor,
are
I thought we decided that nothing had been verified yet.
Was the satellite when the satellite
There was an unusual amount of radiation, enough to cause mutation under certain circumstances. They should be known by
will there be a reply from the state on that matter?
Let's!
Yes, there'll be a reply later.
Yes, new news report this afternoon.
If you'll excuse us.
Now I'm joined in the studio by one of the world's foremost authorities on space science and technology. Dr. Grimes is also head of the Department for Special Research and Astrophysiology at the UK Space Agency. Dr. Grimes, your entire team, I know, has been working very hard to find some solution to the problems we're having. Do you have any answers at this time?
Yes, we have some answers, but first, let me stress the importance of seeking immediate medical attention for anyone who has been injured in any way. We're not sure yet what the complications may arise from such injuries. From our research in the medical centre, we had a cadaver from which all 4 limbs had been amputated. Sometime early this morning, it opened its eyes and began to move its trunk. I mean, it was dead, but it opened its eyes and began to move. All we know for sure is that the bodies of the deceased must be disposed of immediately, preferably by cremation.
Well, how long then after death does the body become reactivated?
It's only a matter of minutes.
Minutes? That doesn't give people time to make any arrangements.
No, you're right. It doesn't give them time to make funeral arrangements. The bodies must be carried into the street and burned. They must be burned immediately soak them in petrol and burn them. The bereaved will just have to forgo the dubious comforts that a funeral service will bring. They're just flesh and dangerous.
I see. Thank you, Dr. Grimes. It seems that before this emergency is over, we will need many, many more rescue stations.